Welcome to Story Ideas on the Fly, where we pick a random idea from the hat and try to develop it into a workable story.
Well, at least the start of one. Okay, so today, let's see what we've got. Save the fairies.
Save the fairies from what?
It sounds like the way it's worded. It sounds almost like a movement, like a save the trees type movement, except it save the fairies instead.
Ooh.
So are we gonna have this be something where there's a movement to try to save the fairies and it's completely legitimate, or they don't actually need saving?
It could
We
be
could
a
do-
political
we c-
intrigue type.
We could do something, we've had there's been the fairy worlds, and the human has to go in and save them, done
That's right.
so many times. So let's do something different. Why would there be a reason maybe where the fairies wouldn't be liked? We could do something where, the fairies are, I don't want to get into too much of the zombie thing, but, the fairies for some reason are ousted from society, probably because of their magic or something like that. And so because of the people fear them because of their magic, they're being pushed away. And so there's a big movement to say, no, 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 let's save the fairies. Fairies are people too,
Yeah.
Well, traditional fairies are incredibly powerful, but also extremely vulnerable, specifically to iron. And if you
True.
set this in a somewhat modern society, iron's everywhere. This pencil probably has iron in it.
I don't think it actually does, but
I don't know,
I get
maybe
what
this
you're
is
saying.
iron.
It has graphite.
Okay.
I
I'm
get
saying
what
this
you're
little
saying.
piece right
Point
here,
being-
it might be
Probably
iron.
aluminum.
Okay.
But yeah, I get your point though.
But iron is every place, yes.
Yeah, what if the movement wasn't a result of active what if it was something where the fairies are leaving because of a different maybe because of iron production? If you had this in an industrial revolution type of
During the Industrial Revolution makes a lot of sense.
Put it in our world. I
Yeah.
would put it
Obviously, it's
in.
not our world, it's just a similar world.
Right, I would put it
But
in
if
a
you
different
did kind
world,
of a
but kind of give
steampunk
them a
industrial revolution style.
oh, save the fairies steampunk. That sounds. I haven't seen that one before.
Well, because then you've got a lot of you would have a lot of iron in production and a lot of things being made that wouldn't necessarily be fairy compatible, and so I think a lot of your fairies are saying, well, they don't need us anymore. They used to get their lights by fairy magic. Now they get their lights by coal and
electricity.
Yeah,
and then they
kerosene lamps
realize when
and
the fairies leave how much fairies actually did, and what
yes.
they need.
So
them
now
for.
they're trying to bring them back.
And saying, "Hey, let's save the fairies." Okay, the thing is, if we get something like this, I think this is an okay world. We need a villain though, rather than just iron or something. Because if your fairies are susceptible to iron, then you say, "Okay, we need the fairies. Let's use different metals besides iron." And
well, that's easier said than done.
it is easier said than done, but it's only so exciting to read about. I'm going to read a book. Chapter 2. They do away with cast iron frying pans. Ooh, exciting. Chapter 3. We do away.
Fair enough. But let's see. How would they? How would a villain try to exploit this situation?
Well, here's an idea. So you've got your villain, and he is, he's not creating this problem, because this problem was just something that came about. But he is going to exploit it. Where are these fairies going? Okay.
To a forest.
Yes, but
Usually
let's
a
say
forest.
he has come in and said, "Oh, I've made this safe haven for you." And so they're coming into what they think is a safe haven. When reality,
We'll take
he is
care
going
of
to
you.
right. He is going to exploit the fairies for his own power.
Another thing you could do, on a slightly different option, is you could have him have some kind of system that utilizes fairy magic slightly more efficiently than the technological equivalent of it. And so it's still probably cheaper to get the technological equivalent But if you could get free fairy labor, then it would be a lot more efficient to get that type thing.
You could do that.
And so then, if you wanted to get slightly political with this, you could actually have the villain be the one to lead the Save the Fairies movement.
Oh,
It's just like, yeah, he wants fairies back, not because he wants what's good for the fairies, but because he wants to
What's good for
exploit
him.
their magic type thing.
Another thing you could possibly do is have the fairies of the land have their magic is weak, but they have a faint light magic, and they give off a faint aura of like virtuous light magic that helps keep away some kind of dark creature. So when the fairies start leaving, the humans are vulnerable to attack from these unseelie fae or demons or goblins or whatever's going on.
Unseelie Fae versus mechs.
That could be fun.
I see my support, though, because the Unseelie Fae are also vulnerable to iron. They were the ones you specifically got iron to protect yourself from.
Fair enough. Fair
So
enough.
instead,
Well,
it would be demons.
Or sunlight,
some-
or yeah, you could do demons.
or
You could do
some other kind of monsters.
it
yeah.
depends on the type of unseelie fae or the type of fae.
Okay, but
There's a
some
lot
kind of
you can play
monsters,
around with
beast,
ideas.
evil demons, something bad.
Something that the fairies
Decide
were
what bad
protecting
thing you
them.
want.
Mhm.
Okay.
Insert bad thing here. Got it.
Yes.
Okay, so insert bad thing.
This you definitely have
But
some,
in that,
some
well,
potential for
there's
some.
one problem with that. The concept is save the fairies, not the fairies are going and we have to replace their jobs with mechs.
Well, no, you're not going to replace
Yeah,
your
but
jobs
these-
with mechs.
That
Because the
doesn't
mechs,
mean you can't have a fight with mechs versus unseelie
and
fae.
we never
Yeah.
said that the mechs were going to win that fight, which is one of the reasons I see they need the fairies.
The thing is, though, that very much sounds like it's the fairies that are in danger. The fairies are the ones that need to be saved, not the humans.
Yeah, well, you can have a both. You can have the humans need the fairies. You can show that the humans need the fairies and the fairies need the humans. The humans need the fairies because if you're villain, if you have these goblins or unseelie fae or demons or whatever that's plaguing humanity.
Actually, you could make it unseelie fae if you did something. So what you could have it be is that instead of just weakening fairy magic, iron can actually act as a poison to fae kind.
Mm-hmm.
So because of that, the Seelie Fae basically worked with humanity for centuries because it was beneficial to both parties. But now that humanity is having this industrial revolution, a lot of the stuff humans are doing a lot of their technology is poisonous to the Fae, and so many of them are being forced to head back into the wilds. But the wilds are ruled by the Unseelie Fae, who way outnumber the Seelie Fae and have a lot strong.
You could do that.
That could work.
So the Fae going out back into the wilds are now in danger, and without those Fae's protection, humans are also kind of in danger. Less so because they have this technology that poisons
but
it.
still not good
But
for.
just because I have a sword that does extra damage doesn't mean I can fight off 20 goblins.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and depending on your type of unseelie fae, there are fae that are immune to iron. There are fae that are not, but there are also a lot of unseelie fae that are not immune to sunlight, and so maybe your fairies were helping protect from a more sunlight. Unseelie fae that don't get as damaged by iron as they get by sunlight, but then the unseelie fae were protecting them from that. But not only now are they gone, but the smog and some of the smoke
It's
from
blocking out some of the natural
from
sunlight.
their I guess steampunk, you don't usually get too much smog yet, so maybe it's not as
smog
much of an
is
issue.
slightly post-steampunk, but you can still get smog
Okay,
and
but you can
steampunk. You can
have-
still do it.
But still,
But
the light
even
of
if
the
it's not there,
fairies,
they can come at night.
the light of the fairies is making a difference that they weren't
Yeah.
aware of. Okay, so this is kind of
I
a
think
cute
So,
idea.
so now we have both the fairies and the humans in danger, but especially the fairies. And the fairies, you have to save them not just because they're in danger, but also because they will help with all the current
Yes.
problems.
So who is our hero?
Well, he's clearly going to be a human because it's the fairy.
Clearly, he's a fairy rights activist.
I was gonna say your hero actually could be a fairy helping save the fairies. Doesn't
Mhm.
have to be a human, but let's go
Yeah.
with a human. Let's say we've got a human that's
Mhm.
going to try to save the fairies.
Yep.
Or
Like
could be a
that.
human who had made friends with several fairies.
Mhm.
Yep.
That could work.
So he's
Or
going to
has a
help them.
girlfriend fairy, or I mean, there's lots of ways you could do
So
it.
how are we going to? So we've got a hero.
Mhm.
He is friends with some of the fairies, so he sees the need to help save them.
And so, and
Who
this,
is he? Why would he be able to help fight these Seelie Fays? What does he bring to
Let's
this table?
see. He could have political influence, or he could be really good with, gears and technology and stuff. Although, if he's doing that, how does he not hurt his fairy friends?
he could be researching ways to make technology without iron and steel, which
That's
He
possible.
could have created a new alloy.
A lot of things end up using
Alloy would be
bronze
cool.
in steampunk, so maybe he's mostly primarily using bronze or something.
right.
Maybe he's a bronze craftsman or a
Yeah,
fairy
bronzesmith.
bronze. Yeah, bronzesmith.
So,
Or something along those
now if you
lines.
wanted to do something, because you don't have to go with traditional fairies on
Mhm.
every rite.
Mm-hmm.
You could have where iron weakens them, bronze strengthens them.
Mhm.
And so he is someone who is able, because he is a bronzesmith, able to come in and say, okay, I'm going to help you.
Yeah, bronze is a common fairy. Is what
Mhm.
fairies use. So
Yes,
it would make
yes.
sense.
But it's what they use. But we could say this actually gives them some
It
strength.
actually helps them.
And so so he could help make
Mhm.
weapons for them. He could help train them to fight this unseelie fae.
Mhm.
Well, I think a lot of the things it would be switching to bronze for everyday use. I think weapons would still be iron because a lot of the things you're using your weapons against are things like the Unseelie Fae, in which case you want iron.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes,
Well, I
but
do
you
think
don't
the
want your
solution's going to be to
your
get rid of
fairies.
all
You want your hilt
iron,
to
but
be
it's
made
gonna
out
be
of. You don't want your hilt to be made out of iron. You want your blade to be made out
Also,
of iron.
a lot of the fairies won't be wielding your guns. That'll be the humans using the guns against evil
Mhm.
fairies. Against
Well,
the
yeah, but if
Unseelie.
Yes.
I thought they just had to be around it, because if they have to actually touch it, then they can live perfectly well in the society, just making sure they don't have a cast
Iron
iron.
ions. Iron
Yeah.
ions, though.
Right. So I'm saying, even
So
if
that
you're
would be
if
so
you're
it would
using
be
the weapons around
no, that would
them,
be prolonged interaction with just being near iron would
So
have
if they
the
walk past a
problems.
horseshoe, it won't kill them or deeply
If they walk past a
affect them, but
horseshoe, they will barely even notice. If there's a horseshoe hanging by the side of their bed for the next year, they're
Okay.
going to have problems.
So-
I
Okay.
think.
now we've got to figure out
So even if there is a mattress, don't sleep on an iron bed, but you can walk past.
what is his
iron.
goal
Yeah.
going to be.
Mhm.
Are we going to try to chase off the Unseelie Fae? Are we going to try to convert the Unseelie Fae? Are we going to try to stop the guy that is actually enraging the Unseelie Fae?
I think
Are we
I think
trying
the
to-
end goal, the end solution to everything,
Mhm.
isn't to like eliminate the Unseelie Fae or anything. It's to basically find a way to let the humans with their iron technology and the Fae who are poisoned by iron work together in such a way so that they can sustainably fight off the Unseelie Fae.
Find a way for both societies to stay together.
Stay together so that they can fight off the common enemy. Yeah,
Mhm.
Okay, and who's the common enemy?
the Unseelie.
The Unseelie.
You
Okay.
could put a human bad guy in there too, trying to pull some
Okay.
You
strings. to
definitely
cause
would
some
have plenty of
issues.
opportunists in here.
Oh yes, pulling
Yes.
strings on this. So
Mhm.
all right.
Or you could have a fairy villain, because fairies are known for pulling strings too.
Oh,
So
you
it's not
could
too
have
hard to fit the love
More
story
than
in
one.
here. It's not hard to fit a love story
Yeah.
in here.
No,
Okay.
not hard at all.
Yeah, you just give him a pretty fake
They
girl.
should fall in
you know?
love with a Grimalkin.
I don't think so. No. Humans, Grimmelkins don't work. All right, so
Furry.
I wasn't serious.
Okay. We can get
With one of the weirder ones, I would have done a puka.
okay. All right. On
We've
that
done that
note,
before.
maybe we'll ask you to give us your ideas. Hopefully, you can come up with something better than getting the guy together with a puka or a Grimmelkin, and put him in the
Yeah,
comments.
because you've never had a hero get together with Puka before.
She was
Okay.
half puka and he was
She's
also
only
half
half
fae.
puka, and yeah, anyway.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Fair enough. I
That
just think
one,
it's
yeah.
funny.
Anyway, all right.
Okay, so what would you do with this? Give us your ideas and comment ideas for our hat.
Yes,
and,
we would love more prompts for our hat, and we'll see you next time.